India has proven that we are now a major global power. I think this Op Sindoor has proved it beyond doubt that India
Hmm.
also now means business. We cannot be bullied by Pakistan no more, no nonsense of Pakistan. And this has
Hmm.
sent a great impetus to Baluchistan, to Baluchis, to POK, our own Kashmiris, and of
Hmm.
course Pashtuns on both sides of the border. And let me tell you, some Afghans who are my friends there, they were very, very happy India striking Pakistan.
You're watching The Gist on Stat News Global. I'm Ramananda Gupta. Our very, very special guest today is Major General S.T. Meston, who, after a very long and distinguished service in the Indian Army, also served as the military attaché in Afghanistan. And today we're going to talk about India's outreach to the Taliban. Thank you so much for joining us, General. It's always a delight to have you with us.
Thank you, Ramananda.
So it's I think we last spoke with at again on the same subject. I think whether we should cozy up to the Taliban or not. And I remember you had some very interesting views on that. You know, so let's take it from the recent event. Why we brought this up, sir, is because after I think what almost 20 years or something or more than that. I mean, we had external affairs minister speaking to their foreign minister as part of I think a series of outreaches that we've done. We had Foreign Secretary Mystery talking to their foreign minister back in January, I think, and plus a whole bunch of diplomats. How significant is this latest round of talks, sir?
Good afternoon, Ramananda. If you recollect, in my last interview with you, I had given one very strong statement that either India could be on the stands and watch the race or participate in the race. And I'm glad we have decided to participate in the race and we are running the race. So the
Okay,
call by our external affairs minister is a good idea. He's obviously spoken to acting foreign minister Mutaki,
that's
and
right.
I think the intent was very, very clear. Firstly, it's an outreach program, as it is our JS and some small level delegations have been to Afghanistan. But
Hmm.
if the external affairs minister calls up, then it has a tremendous impact. And
Right.
obviously, Afghanistan is strategically very, very important for us. And keeping that in mind, and the current situation post Op Sandur, I think it was a well timed idea to speak to Mutaki. And I think what
Hmm.
the purpose of the call would have been firstly to give a little overview of Operation Sindoor, the intent and the purpose of the government of India. Why
Hmm.
did we do it? And also, we have conveyed a strong message to Pakistan that we shall not accept terrorism in any form, and it will be always considered as an act of war. And this time, India has reflected its capability to strike deep inside Pakistan. So now we have a new normal with Pakistan.
Hmm.
Obviously, Afghanistan also has its strategic concerns from Pakistan, and therefore it was
Hmm.
very rightful that India has spoken to them. And also, I think some of 160 trade the vehicles which were to come from Afghanistan to India with dry fruits,
That's right.
etc. So that
Hmm.
also we apprised him that we will open the Wagah checkpost. So the vehicles 160 carrying dry fruits, etc., have been allowed. Though
Hmm.
Pakistan has not allowed the reverse trade with Afghanistan, but anyway, it's a good thing that Afghanistan trade continues with India. So their
Hmm.
vehicles have, and that reflects our historical, cultural, and of course trade, all kinds of relationship with Afghanistan. So the call has been with a good intent, with a good purpose, and obviously now perhaps India is looking for, I would say, solid engagement with the people of Afghanistan, and obviously the people of Afghanistan, as on date, implies the government of Afghanistan, and that is the Taliban, which is a reality. We have to accept it. No one can dislodge it. I had stated this last time. So we have
That's
to
right.
accept. And the way President Trump has done, even with Ahmad al Shara in
Hmm.
India, perhaps we
Right.
may have to go that way.
Hmm. So, are you sort of implying that this sort of opens up the door for the Taliban too to be recognized in some way eventually?
As on date, no country has formally recognized Taliban 2.0, including China,
Mm-hmm.
including Russia. None of them have recognized. But the beauty is, all embassies, Chinese embassy is full-fledged functioning there. Russian embassy is functioning. Iranian embassy is functioning. Pakistan embassy is functioning. Full-fledged embassies are functioning. And now perhaps also the United States embassy is also going to function shortly. As it is, you are aware, backdoor talks are going on at Doha, and probably that is one of the reasons that President Trump, in his recent visit, has also visited Qatar. So perhaps it
Mm-hmm.
is impetus to those talks. They may not recognize it formally. Yes, the only country which may recognize it formally is, it will be conditional based. That means the talks which are going on in Doha between Taliban and Khalilzad, who is the
Mm-hmm.
ex-ambassador to Afghanistan,
Right.
I think
Mm-hmm.
they would give a lot of terms of reference, and those terms of reference would include having an inclusive government, and of course, gender
Lots of
rights,
women's rights and stuff.
education for the women, and giving them all possible jobs. The same what it was during when the ISAF was there, or I would say
Mm-hmm.
Karzai's rule was there, and the Ashraf Ghani's rule was there. So something on those lines, inclusive government
Mm-hmm.
maybe, but definitely they would not like to take all those officials of that era because they were corrupt. So new government, the Taliban will continue, but they may take some uh, other neutral faces or good faces, and maybe some women in the inclusive government. So if these terms of condition are met by Taliban to the
Mm-hmm.
Americans, then I think they may recognize it, and then India may follow it. But as on date, India should also set up its embassy there. As it is, we have the
Mm-hmm.
embassy, but it should be a full-fledged functional embassy, and
Right.
we have to look after our security. And for that, rather than having a CRPF there, when I was
Mm-hmm.
there, it was there because our inherent security was ensured by the presence of Internal Security Assistance Force led by the U.S. Four-Star
Right.
General, 52
Mm-hmm.
countries. I now start feeling that we may have to have even the Indian Army Special Forces there because when I was there, that time the Pakistan had their SSGs deployed in their embassy. So
Mm-hmm.
God forbid tomorrow something happens, at least
Mm-hmm.
special forces can activate and evacuate all the embassy officials, though unlikely to happen because Taliban also would not like Indian interests to be targeted in Afghanistan. So they would definitely cater for our security.
Mm-hmm. Sir, do you see any sort of linkage between the fact that our EAM spoke to their foreign minister just, 2 or 3 days after? You mentioned that to brief him, perhaps he said it. But do you think that was just the only reason, or could it be because they're also trying to say thank you for, supporting us against Pakistan, kind of a thing? I mean, my enemy's enemy is my friend, kind of a philosophy. Is that part of the thinking?
See, obviously, that is also part of the thinking. See, we are very clear. Afghanistan is a strategic friend. There is no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a historical, cultural relationship we have. And so many of their armed forces people have been trained in India. So many of them,
Right.
right? 1970, the National Defense Academy, Indian Military Academy. And when I was posted as a defense attaché in Afghanistan from 2011 to 14,
Mm-hmm.
you would be surprised to know that about 100 officers or cadets used to be trained in the National Defense Academy and the Indian Military Academy. And not only
Mm-hmm.
that, we had some of their officers who were trained here as instructors in the IMA and NDA as
Oh,
instructors.
oh.
Yeah. So, and then so many Afghan students used to come to India to attend colleges in all the states of India, including Gujarat, I recollect, and they had carried wonderful memories. So the people to people ties, the military to military people ties, the trade ties, the cultural ties, the strategic ties we have, and of course, I remember General Vardak. Can you believe he was ex-IMA trained way back, I think in 30s, early 30s. So he was
Mm-hmm.
their defense minister also for some time, General Abdul Vardak. So,
Mm-hmm.
the fondness they have for India, and President Karzai, that time, he himself was in Shimla for almost, I think, 6 years. So, we have
Oh.
such a good relationship. So, it's of a
Mm-hmm.
strategic interest, and I think it was just a little short break we have had just because of the Taliban takeover. And if you recollect,
Mm-hmm.
in all my interviews, wherever it is, I've been advocating that we need to be in contact with Taliban irrespective of everything because they are a reality. No one can dislodge them. And who's going to dislodge them? No one today, not even the Americans. So Americans have
Mm-hmm.
also got to accept them. Indians have to accept them. And more than Taliban, we have to serve our own national interest. So our national interest demands that whoever is, running the country, we have to be recognizing them maybe at a later stage. Definitely, once the US does, I'm quite sure India will follow suit. And
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you, the friends in Afghanistan whom I have, they also give some very positive feedback about Taliban. They are very happy there in terms of there is zero level corruption. That is something which has been lauded by the common Afghans, except
Okay.
the education and the discrimination against women. That is
Mm-hmm.
something which is of a great concern. Rest everything, people seem to be happy. And yeah, another thing I must tell you, one thing about Afghans, they don't go with a begging bowl to anyone,
Right.
unlike
They're very
Pakistan.
proud people.
They
Very
they
proud
are
people.
proud. Yes, they are a nation. Pakistan is an artificial nation created by the British Britishers, but they are very
Mm-hmm.
proud. They have a history. They have a legacy. The Pashtuns have a great pride in their culture. The Pashtun legacy. So I have never seen the Afghans, begging to any country in the world, and that is
Mm-hmm.
what is a very very important aspect. So right now also they are not begging. They are surviving, but once I think the United States talks are successful and some kind of an inclusive government is there, things
Mm-hmm.
would work out. And another thing, yeah, Afghanistan is strategically very, very important for India in every manner, every manner. Even against Pakistan, we have to counter China, we have to have inroads to Central Asian republics. Then our allied friend is there, Iran, onto the western border and Chabar
Mm-hmm.
port connectivity. So it's very, very important. So I think the message is very clear, and especially with Ops Sindoor. One thing is, I must admit, India has proven that we are now a major global power. I think this Op Sindoor has proved it beyond doubt that India
Mm-hmm.
also now means business. We cannot be bullied by Pakistan no more, no nonsense of Pakistan. And this has
Mm-hmm.
sent a great impetus to Baluchistan, to Baluchis, to POK, our own Kashmiris, and of
Mm-hmm.
course Pashtuns on both sides of the border. And let me tell you, some Afghans who are my friends there, they were very, very happy India striking Pakistan. So it serves our national interest, and I must compliment the External Affairs Minister for taking this bold decision. And I'm quite
Mm-hmm.
sure the turning point has started now, and we will build up the relationship much better.
Mm-hmm. So when we say build up the relationship, we already have a lot of investment there. We have a lot of, we have helped build their parliament, we've helped build roads, all kinds of things. Do you think that's where they're going to pick up the, thing from, the relationship from, or is there some other strategic relationship that we're also looking at?
See, firstly, whatever we have done so far and whatever we will do in the future, it directly impacts the people of Afghanistan. I
Mm-hmm.
can say with great pride that when I was there, the Afghanis love Indians the most, undoubtedly. And the next country in order was Turkey, or Turkey, But the
Mm-hmm.
most hated nation was Pakistan, and I used to feel the best part about it. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever we do, any infrastructure, development of roads, hospitals, the Afghans are very, very, for we are making an impact on them. So that
Mm-hmm.
again revives our historical relationship, and this will also open door. Yeah, very, very important, which I think I must highlight now is Afghans require medical treatment. Unfortunately, they
Right.
have choice as on date. They go to Pakistan. In Pakistan, they freeze them. They give them wrong treatment. They give them third class fake medicines. So
Mm-hmm.
Afghans are looking forward for, having the this uh, sort of transit, the facilities of opening our airports
Medical
and
medical tourism mostly. Huh?
giving visas, tourism, and medical. I think we need to start this because people of Afghanistan love us, and therefore we must open up. And they are friends. Now, so this is one point, the people impact on the people. The second point is, let's look at our strategic interest. What are our strategic interests? Firstly, our presence itself in Afghanistan in any form, I would say any form, is a
Mm-hmm.
threat being to Pakistan. One.
Okay.
Number two, we counter the influence of China in Afghanistan. We counter their BRI initiative, which they are proposing in two ways. One is they are trying to connect China through the Wakhan corridor,
Right.
through Wakajir Pass, which is about
Mm-hmm.
18,000 feet high. From
Mm-hmm.
that, they want to connect to Afghanistan through the Wakhan corridor. The
Right.
second, they are also trying to link from the SIPEC somewhere close to Peshawar. They want to take a route directly, a train route. Rail route is already there. The Khyber
Mm-hmm.
route is there along the Khyber
Mm-hmm.
Pass. But now they are looking for a train railway connectivity to Afghanistan from through Pakistan. So
Okay.
we have to counter this type of influence of China. Third, Afghanistan has got $4.1 trillion worth of mineral reserves, and as on date, I would say as on date, Chinese are already there in Afghanistan. They are doing mining and they are doing oil drills in Amu Darya Basin for gas,
Mm-hmm.
etc., and Manu and mining in the copper mines. You know, INEC.
Already done a lot of contracts. A
Yeah.
lot of contracts. That's
So
right.
they are taking the advantage. And now I feel the American interest is also there, that they also realize this potential, and the way President Trump has been talking about rare earth minerals through Ukraine and in
In
Greenland,
Ukraine.
he knows it is in Afghanistan because Americans were there for 20 years, so they have done a lot of
Right.
the mining,
Mm-hmm.
the survey. So they are also aware. So perhaps America is also in a hurry to start some mining contracts. So he knows that
Mm-hmm.
there are critical rare earth minerals there. So India has to also jump in. Otherwise, again, Chinese are as it is jumped in. So now we have to be, far ahead in this. So this is a counter to China in every way. We can't, of course, remove them, but yeah, we have to have
Mm-hmm.
a footprints there in terms of let's start doing mining and drilling. And incidentally, we had got the Hajikak iron ore mines contract, and there are huge
Right.
gold deposits. So at least India can start doing. And let me tell you, if we open it up to the private investment, whether it is Adani or Jindal and all, these people will go there and start at least getting coal, etc. from there, coal and iron, which is vital for our steel industry. So I think the
Mm-hmm.
government has to give a impetus, and the FICI has to also take a lead role in this. Let's set up something because before it becomes too late. China is doing, and it will continue to expand. So let India also start doing this investment in Afghanistan. So that is
Yes,
another
sir.
important factor.
You
In the
mentioned that, sir.
counter influence China. The other one is
Mm-hmm.
we are making the Chabar port.
Right.
So we obviously making it as a counter to the BRI, and we want it as
Mm-hmm.
a north-south, transport corridor.
That's
But
right.
that corridor will only become effective because it has to pass through Afghanistan to Central
Absolutely.
Asian Republic. So therefore,
Has to.
our interest in Afghanistan is also because of this. And of course, the last is, see, there is a also geopolitical conflict or a geostrategic conflict between Afghanistan and Iran there because of the Shia,
Absolutely. Yes.
because of the Shia Sunni factor. So
Mm-hmm.
because of that, the let me tell you, IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of the
That's right.
Iranians,
Iran. Mm-hmm.
they support the Baluchis, they support the Shias, and they were also instrumental in getting some of their people, including the Hazaras, into the governors and governors of some of the provinces of Afghanistan.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yes, so I know Iran that time where their defense attaché used to meet me number of times, and he used
Mm-hmm.
to tell me that convey this to your NSA, which I used to convey. So they were looking for convergence with India. Iran has got a better convergence of interest with India because they support Balochistan, they support the Shias. So this threat of Islamic radicalism, which Pakistan has tried, that also
Mm-hmm.
gets negated and countered by the Iranian or joint Indo-Iranian influence. So we have got, beside the people-to-people relationship, these are our strategic interests there in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that India might The private sector in India might want to invest in the minerals and all that stuff there. Is the security situation good enough for that?
No, I think firstly security. Let me tell you, some tourists are also going, not Indian tourists, but people from other
Hmm.
countries. See, Afghanistan today, if we contact the Taliban government and our private people go and they can meet in Dubai, etc. And first, security won't be a concern because the Pashtuns or the Taliban over there, they would assure. So wherever they stay and wherever they transport and wherever they are doing drilling, oblique
Hmm.
mining, they will provide security. I have no doubts because see, China, no one is targeting them, but Indians,
Hmm.
be targeting Indians. It is these Pakistanis, their ISI handlers. So security, see, some risk have to be taken in the national interest, and there is a lot of money in this. So our
Obviously.
investors, I'm ready to give a talk to the FICI and explain to them. We can't be just always worried about these things. Security will tie it up. The Afghans, some undertaking and all will have to be given because we
Hmm.
have here, and today we are opening, all these semiconductor and chip facilities. The recent one announced in
Right.
what do we require? We require silicon and all these rare earth critical
The supply chain becomes
so
robust through
we
that.
require it, and we have got a port connectivity through Chabar. So and mind you, Afghanistan is a landlocked country, so
That's right.
they also get a port connectivity through Chabar. So Afghanistan will be
Hmm.
so grateful to us because Pakistan keeps choking them whenever it is. They don't have a port access. They have not even given Afghanistan even some sort of a small entry or some sort of a transit facility in Gwadar. So Baluchis will
Hmm.
be very happy. So overall, India today we have to evolve a strategy. Either so, again, I would reiterate, we enter the race in Afghanistan and just be very, very clear and firm, or allow China, or maybe even Iran, or maybe even Pakistan to extract this economical benefit. We have invested so much. We have made the parliament, right? Salma Dam, road connectivity, so many hospitals, Indira Gandhi Hospital, and all this
Hmm.
will be irrelevant. Whatever has been done is done. But we have to also look
Hmm.
after our own economic interest and joint ventures with the Taliban. So and with the people of Afghanistan, it will give an impetus to their economy and to the Indian economy. Plus, we will have the critical mineral resources for our semiconductor. The facilities which we are now creating in the country, besides what we have done in Assam and now one in I think Gujarat. So
Right.
we have to get these materials. They are very very important because China has
So,
got a lot of
also,
fund. They have about world's 80 odd percent critical rare earth minerals. Now they are
that's right.
also existing in Afghanistan. We don't have much, so we have to start doing the mining. So security will be catered
Hmm.
for. See, again, I always say where there is a political will and where there is a
Hmm.
will, everything is possible. Everything can be worked out. There is nothing. There is
Hmm.
no the impossibility that what should not be there. This is the first time we have hit Pakistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Punjab after 53
Right.
years. So it
Hmm.
was a political will, and we were very
Absolutely.
clear we have to do it. So will होना चाहिए and we must go ahead. Security will be taken care of.
So that's an interesting point. And since you're talking about will and policy, let's close with the last question, sir. So it's slightly sensitive question in the sense that there is a hardline sort of a Islamic radical thing in Afghanistan. We are making friends with them for whatever reasons, strategic reasons, political reasons, whatever it may be. How difficult will that idea be to sell to our domestic audience? Will it be difficult to tell and overwhelmingly, and in the kind of situation we are right now, that Muslims, Pakistan, we are that kind of a thing. Is it going to be difficult to sell the idea that look, let's be friends with Taliban, and is that going to impact us in some way?
I think you are the first person who has raised this very, very interesting question, and it's a very important issue.
Hmm.
And I would request you to give me some time on this.
Sure,
Uh,
but I was just thinking about it. It's a bit tough to sell it to the armed janta, whom we've been saying, Muslims are bad, Muslims are this, Muslims are that. And to suddenly go and say that, look, we are trying to be friends with Taliban. But I have part of the answer from your answer to the last question, where you spoke about the old relationship that we have. I think that still holds. We don't
Yeah,
see them as much as Muslims as friends from Afghanistan. That thing
yeah,
is different. The relationship is very different from, let's say, Pakistan.
yeah, I agree. So, how do we sell this idea in India, and would some hardliners in India take it? Now, my
Hmm.
answer is as follows. Firstly, the war is between the spirit of India and between an artificially created state on a religious, division, which was an
Hmm.
artificial created by the Britishers. The only country in the world which has created based on this philosophy of religious divide.
Right.
India has existed for centuries. We are a historical nation, such rich history.
Hmm.
So the war is not between Hindus and Muslims. The war is between the spirit of India and the artificial created Pakistan, which today is talking only about Islamic radicalism. Now, I would
Hmm.
just explain this to you. You look back at the Afghan history. In 60s, 70s, Afghanistan was the most modern state in the Islamic world. And I recollect, if you just see the photographs of 60s and 70s, the girls
Yes, sir.
literally used to be in mini skirt, and
I know,
there
sir.
was there was no differentiation between a boy and a girl, and it was so good. That country was doing very well. It had one of the boldest and strongest armies. It was supported by Russia. They had everything. Now, this General Ziaul Haq, he took the opportunity and the Soviet invasion and the support by United States and
US. Hmm.
jihadis and mujahideens and everything. His aim was very clear. His strategic aim was, General Zia's aim was very, very clear. First aim was keep the Pashtuns on both sides of the border divided, of the Duran line divided, and keep instilling on them jihadi and radicalize them. And if you remember, I told you in one of my interviews that Ziaul Haq, when he was the army chief, he had called all his corps commanders. How
Right.
do how do we attack India? And corps commanders gave various orders, suggestions. He said only one way: radicalize Pakistan army, radicalize the nation. So he radicalized Pakistan, and
Hmm.
now you know where Pakistan is gone, and he radicalized
Absolutely.
Afghanistan, and we know where is Afghanistan gone. So the
Hmm.
first thing is radicalization in any form for any country is a disaster for that country. That must be understood by all Indians. I again repeat, radicalization in any religious form for any
Hmm.
country is harmful. We have now three live examples in our neighborhood. Pakistan radicalized, Afghanistan radicalized by Pakistan, and Bangladesh now being radicalized again by Pakistan. And you see,
Right.
Bangladesh economy was flourishing so well just of late, and whatever has happened now with the ISI intervention in Bangladesh, all their manufacturing, fabric units, textile units have closed down. So radicalism. Now that state is
They're
also
also
going.
standing in line with a
Yeah.
bowl in front
Now
of the IMF.
why India has prospered? One has to even ask that question. India has
Hmm.
prospered because we have got the spirit of India. Everyone in this country who is born in this country, he is a Indian. Religion is should be considered as secondary. First is nation. We are a nation, and religion is personal, and we must respect all religions. Now, if we keep doing this religious divide in our own country, you rightly said
Hmm.
some hardliners may not agree. We are then, whom we are serving. Anyone who does this religious divide, anyone, whether he's a politician, whether he's anyone in a social media group of any religion, whether he being a Muslim or a Hindu, he is serving
Hmm.
Asim Munir. He is playing into Asim Munir's hand. In fact, such people should be branded as ISI agents. They are going to harm this country. And imagine if India is radicalized in both forms.
Exactly. Exactly.
The two major religion forms. The major religion, of course, is Hinduism, and of
Right.
course, the other religion is Islam. Major religion, and Islam population Muslims is today more than Pakistan. So what will happen in
Yes.
India if we have this radicalization? It will devastate this country. What happened in 1947, and Asim Munir exactly wants that. So any Indian any politician playing into this fiber of caste and religion, I think he should be termed as an ISI agent, and the national politics and the Supreme Court should view this as very seriously. Otherwise, let me tell you, we will bleed on India, and this is what Asim Munir wants, and this is what Zial Haq has stated: bleed India by thousand cuts. So you have raised a very pertinent question. The Prime Minister rightfully mentioned spirit of India. The spirit of India are the people of India, the land of India. The Indian Hava, that is the spirit of India. We all love each other. In the armed forces, the live example of people of all religions and caste, we exist so well. Let us learn some examples from Operation Blue Star. What happened? There were some mutinies in Sikh Paltans. You know what happened. So,
I know.
religious is a very sensitive issue in our country. So, let us not bring religion as a foremost in politics and cast into politics. And I say, as a soldier, uh, for me, country is first. I'm
I
not
agree with you
interested.
totally on that, sir.
So let us be very, very clear. And therefore, if we understand this, the spirit of India, the war is between the spirit of India and the Islamic radical nation artificially created by Pakistan. And now let me give another statement. If Pakistan was so successful in their Islamic theory or Islamic propagation, they have failed miserably. Then why was
Of
Bangladesh
course.
created? Then why is the Baluchis today striking at them? Why is the Pashtun striking at them? Why is the TTP striking at them? Why is the Afghan Taliban striking at them? Why there are uprisings in POK? The Kashmiris are uprising. So this proves that religion does not become a binding factor. The nationhood becomes the binding factor. So I told you something, if you remember, Afghans have never begged, so they have got a nation identity. Baluchis also have a nation identity. India has a national identity since ages and history, civilizational history. Pakistan created in 47 on what basis? On the lines of religion?
I
And
know.
this is what exactly Munir wants. That India, he has been trying to incite the Indian Muslims. He is trying to incite the Indian Muslims to rise up against Hindus. He wants to make it a war of Hindu Muslim. And God forbid if we get into this trap, I would say we are serving the interest of Asim Munir. So politicians, any politician who makes such ridiculous statements, or any person of repute, or people in social media make such remarks, I think
Hmm.
they are only serving Asim Munir. So they have to take a call whether they are serving the spirit of India or whether they are going to serve the interest of Asim Munir. And if we should not allow this religious radicalization in our country. We should have the spirit of India, respect and love for every people who are Indian.
Absolutely, sir. On that note, I am afraid we must end this conversation. I think that was a very positive note to end this conversation
Thank
with. Thank you so very much, sir, for putting the whole issue into perspective. I mean, I know I learned a lot as always, so I'm sure even our viewers will. And I look forward to having you again.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was General Meston talking to us about India's outreach to Afghanistan and the strategic issues involved. I do hope you enjoyed this particular edition of The Gist, and I look forward to seeing you again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.